My constructions started ramping up and ramping up and inching closer together. After only a few more hours, and it was around 5 p.m. when I begged Jungkook to take me to hospital so that I could take pain painkillers. On the exterior, he maintained some symbols of calm, and he gathered our hospital bag and assisted me to the car. But I know deep down he was scared sick. He dropped with one hand on wheel and other in mine, squeezing it firmly. When we arrived at the hospital, we were swiftly brought to a room, and the doctor came in to check things out within the first half hour. When can I get an epidural? I quickly asked as he positioned himself to the edge of the bed. The doctor stifled a faint laugh. First, I am going to check your dilatation, and then we will see what we can do about it. I reached for Jungkook, who was standing to my left and out of the doctor's way, and squeezed his hand severely again. When the doctor checked how much late I was, as much more unpleasant sensation that I expected. You are already 8 centimeters dilated, which means an epidural is no longer an option for you. The doctor came said after a minute or so, straightening up and removing his gloves. What? No, I need the drugs. The doctor offered a sympathetic look. I am afraid I am only able to provide you with oxygen at this point. I will arrange for a nurse to come over and put that up for you as soon as possible. I will be back in a minute to check on you again. But if you need help sooner, you can press the button next to the bed. Jungkook's baby. As soon as Dr. Kim left the room, I had heard construction gripping Taehyung's midsection, and I stood helplessly to the side, watching as my husband curled up in himself and clenching his teeth. Breathe, love, I said softly, reaching over to wipe a stain of hair away from his sooty face. But before I could even touch him, his head wiped around and he flashed an ice glare. Don't touch me. This is all your fault now. I can't even get an epidural and freak. It hurts, he yelled. After reading his lips, I took a step back and placed both hands up in surrender as I watched Taehyung ride out the construction on his own. I expected him to be a bit tensed or emotional throughout labor, but I didn't anticipate it being this was this serves. I felt helpless, divided between wanting to do close to him to support him and wanting to go him to the distance he seems to need it right now. I didn't have to ponder the topic for as long as Taehyung looked up at with wet eyes and a panicked expression as soon as the construction ended. Sick love, I'm sorry, please don't leave. I didn't mean that. I cut him off, stepping closer to him and moving to sit by his legs on the small hospital bed, attentively eyeing him. It's fine, baby. You can say whatever you want if it helps, I said, softly smiling down at him and caressing his bum. I'm scared, love, they said as he trembled and took a deep breath. This is already hurting a lot more than I expected, and this isn't even the worst of it. I ran my finger through his sooty French, sympathizing with his words. I know, baby, but you are the strongest person I have ever met. You can do this. Before he could respond, Taehyung was overcome by another wave of pain. His left hand reached for his bump, and his right went for mine. I frowned as I let him grasp my hand until it was completely numb. Breathe, baby, you got this. I whispered in his ear, leaning over until he was resting against my side. I got you. Thames POV, we were commanded together on the small hospital bed. A few hours later, our son, who was several minutes old, slept on his daddy's bare chest. I mostly up against his side and touched my baby's soft cheek with my thumb. I was already badly in sleep, exhausted from pushing out an almost 10-pound baby, and my husband's warm body next to me made my eyes feel heavier by the second. Baby, Jungkook said softly, drawing my attention. Get some rest. You will still be here when you wake up. Smiled warmly as Jungkook used a sign we closed for our son's name, and my heart fluttered in my chest as I saw my husband and son interact. The latter cook looking for so comfortable on his dad's broad chest. I was about to fall asleep when a nurse entered, offering us a nice smile as she witnessed the intimate moments. Sorry, lads, I'm stealing this adorable baby for a few days. Wouldn't take long, I promise, she said, and when I explained what she intended, Jungkook replied, handed Taekook up is it for his hearing test. Jungkook was just as she was ready to walk away, startled me once again by saying it out loud. The nurse nodded yes, among others, she said before exiting the room. Jungkook immediately tipped up his lower lip and gave me a concerned look. No matter what the outcome is, it will be fine, love. Yeah, we have discussed this before, I said, snuggling even closer to Jungkook on the little bed, knowing how much he needed it right now. I know, but I'm still hoping he wouldn't be deaf. Jungkook said and ran all of his hands down my back. You should really try to get sleep. You look worn out. I am, I said with a crunch, making myself comfortable against Jungkook's side. I love you. I love you too. Taekook wasn't returned to room for about an hour, and I woke when the nurse handed her baby back to Jungkook. Is everything okay? I asked, my voice a little strained from the scream I let out during labor and delivery. When she looked at me, the nurse had an odd expression on her face. I'm afraid that only doctors are permitted to discuss the result, she said, waiting for me to reply the information to Jungkook before continuing. The doctor will be with you shortly to discuss it. She left again shortly after, and when I turned looking back to look at Jungkook, tears were slowly running down my face. He is deep Taehyung. You don't know that, Jungkook, I said as I reached over to wipe Jungkook's cheeks while he clenches our baby as if he was afraid someone would come along and kidnap him. It's the way she was looking at us, he said with pity. Something must be wrong. Maybe I was interrupted when the doctor walked in, and he had the same sad expression as the nurse who just left. That I'm afraid I have some bad news to share, he said as he sat down in one of the plastic chairs leaning the white wall. which he had pulled closer to the bed. I am not going to keep you wondering much longer, sir. Taekook is deaf. We gave him 2 hearing tests and he didn't respond to either. We can perform more tests to see if it's genetic or caused by other circumstances, but given that deafness runs in one side of the family, we can almost certainly guess the answer. But he reacted to our voice when I was pregnant. I quickly said surely he wasn't coincidental every time. The doctor gave a small syrup, but they produced vibration and the amniotic fluid. Babies general can sometimes react to sounds that inside the palm. That's what I'm guessing he was reacting to. Jungkook retained a sober expression on his face as he watched me side watch to him, silently cradling Taekook to his chest as I exchanged a few more words with the doctor. He remained silent and stoic as the man walked away, giving us one last and small smile before leaving. Jungkook, don't. As I stared at my husband beside me, my heart began to tighten. I was afraid Jungkook was blaming himself since his face was blank and emotionless. Our baby appeared to be particularly little, curled up and sleeping soundly on his dad's breast. Once more. Just once more, Jungkook, please, I said again, talk to me. I don't want to talk about it right now, he said, one of his hand coming up to stroke Taekook's chubby cheeks. I know you are tired and it's almost midnight. You should try to sleep, Taehyung. I know I should drop it for now since his expression didn't change. While he spoke, I winced slightly as I suffered in a small hospital bed next to Jungkook, trying to make myself as comfortable as possible. Wake me up if he does, I said, waiting for Jungkook to nod before closing my eyes. My thoughts wandered for a few minutes when I listened to my husband's steady breathing, but sleep came fast. The entire day of labor and pain called up with me. When I woke up, I was light outside, and Jungkook was seated in an uncomfortable medical chair by the window, looking down on his phone rather than in the bed next to me. When he noticed me sitting up, he looked up and smiled tiredly. How are you feeling? He asked as he stood up and walked out over to night. I said, kissing my forehead, sleep. I'm fine, just a bit sore, I said, returning his smile. Where is Taekook? Jungkook motioned to a small plastic on the other side of the room. As my gaze fell on my baby, I instantly grinning. Did he get a good night's sleep? I didn't hear him cry once, I said with a slight frown. No, I brought him out to the hallway a couple of times when he became fussy, so he wouldn't wake up. A nurse also came with a bottle around 4 a.m. and I got to feed him. He is been sleeping ever since. You should have woken me up, love, so we could have taken turns. You must have not gotten much sleep yourself, I said, shaking my head slightly in displeasure as I watched Jungkook move over to the bed, vanished and left Taekook out. Jungkook returned to the bed and gently placed Taekook onto my waiting arms, smiling as the baby appeared unfazed by the moment. You needed it more, Jungkook said as he took a seat next to my legs on the bed. I don't think I would have been able to sleep anyway, love, I said while Jungkook looking at Jungkook instead of our baby. Jungkook was looking down at me, considerable calmer than he had been last night before. I'm just trying to wrap my head around it properly, Jungkook said, reaching over to stroke our baby's soft head. I just want what's best for him, so do I, baby. But we can't do anything about this part from giving him all our love and affection, I said, returning our gaze to Taekook, who was a little version of my husband and was lying in my arms. You know, this isn't your fault, right? That I don't blame you even a single bit for this. For a few moments, Jungkook seemed torn, biting his lower lip before nodding. I know that, but it still hurts. No, baby, I said while placing one of my hands on the top of Jungkook, which was on Taekook's back. But in my opinion, at the very least, you were able to teach him a lot of your tricks, which will make it easier for you to bond with him. I'm confident that everything will work out. In the end, love, thanks, baby, Taekook. Now were both declared healthy enough to be discharged from the hospital the next day, and as Jungkook drove our little family home, we kept stealing glances in the rearview mirror, brimming as he saw me making funny faces at our baby, who was fully awake in the car seat. When we got home, the house was peacefully silent, and he smiled when he saw a note from my mother-in-law on the side by the door. Note. The phrase is spelled with there is Lavashna in there waiting for to be heated up. Your mother and I will pay you a visit tomorrow morning to meet the little one. Call me if you need anything. Love you guys, Mom. As I read it over Jungkook's shoulder, I grinned. Although I was sure both of our moms were itching to meet Taekook, I was pleased they were giving us some time to settle in as a family before and building our personal space. I was pulled from my thoughts by a faint cooking noise, and I looked down at the car seat Jungkook had just placed on the floor by where Taekook was startled to first. I think he must be hungry, I said to Jungkook as I bent down to carefully unbox Taekook and bring him to my chest. I will make a bottle, Jungkook said before disappearing into the kitchen. I gently washed Taekook as I walked over to the living room, carefully sitting down on the couch and trying to calm him down. Just a minute, baby. Love, Dada is making you a bottle, I whispered against Taekook's sweet, smiling head as I watched him smack his lips together. Jungkook walked into the room and smiled as he handed me the warm bottle and sat next to me on the couch. We both gasped in awe as Taekook launched on the bottle and began sipping eagerly. His gut Papa's appetite, Jungkook said with a grin as I leaned over to put my head against Jungkook's chest to watch our son eat. He looks just like you though, I said smiling. We sat in comfortable silence for the next few minutes, exchanging occasional smiles. Once Taekook's bottle was empty, I gave him over to Jungkook. He stood up and began bouncing on his feet, stroking Taekook's back to get him to bowl. As soon as he did, Taekook fell asleep against his daughter's chest, and Jungkook smiled tenderly as he walked over to the place him and in the cot we had put up in the living room. Are you hungry? Jungkook asked as he turned around me to face me. I could heat you up like a snack for dinner. As I suddenly shoved my legs up to lie down on the couch, I shook my head. I think I'm going to take a nap while he is sleeping. I'm exhausted. He is asleep too. Jungkook smiled warmly as he grabbed the blanket, folded one on the armchair back to wrap around me. It's fine. I'm not sleepy. Let me know if you need anything, he said before stooping down to give me a soft kiss on my forehead. Jungkook's POV took every ounce of strength I had not to spend the entire night standing in front of Taekook's crib. I had gently woken Taekook up to eat dinner after letting him sleep on the couch for a couple of hours, knowing he must be hungry after hardly eating at the hospital the previous several days. At the dinner table, we had eaten my mom's lasagna together. Taehyung stayed attentive in case he heard Taekook cried in next room. I had ushered him up to bed after dinner, stressing that he needed some decent rest and that sleeping on the couch for any longer would do serious damage to his back. He accepted to an early bedtime before after I promised to wake him up if I needed any help with him and reminded me to turn on our baby monitor before going to bed. I had stayed up a few more hours doing some housework and giving my son another bottle before heading to the bed. I began to panic as I placed Taekook in the wooden cot I had assembled in the nursery a few weeks before. I know my husband wouldn't mind getting up in the middle of the night for filling the diaper change, but I desperately needed Tay to sleep. He would be exhausted from the delivery and he'd only been able to sleep restlessly for a few hours at the hospital. He basically looked lifeless. I also know that the vibrating baby monitor I would place under my pillow picks up even the tiniest noise from the nursery and wake me up every time Taehyung and I had put it through its face together, and it had always worked, but it was no longer a test. This was my baby, who was very real and very precious to me. I inhaled deeply before taking a caution step backward from the cot where when Taekook didn't move or started frozen. I looked down. I took another step back and then another until I was out of the room in 2 hours. Taehyung was curled up on his side of the bed and I sat down tightly on mine to avoid startling or waking him up. As I sat there, staring blankly at the wall for a moment until I felt the bed move and my husband's hand on my hip. Did you have any trouble putting him down? They asked, eyes heavy with sleep. I simply shook my head, repositioning myself so that I was now lying next to Taehyung in the bed. What's wrong? He asked, sensing my distress. I'm scared I wouldn't notice him crying, I said, as Taehyung's face formed a deep frown. Is the baby monitor on? He asked, and I nodded once again. Nothing to worry about then, love. That thing will wake you up if he does. What if it doesn't, though? Taehyung slid over and wrapped both of my arms around my waist, hugging me for a brief moment. Then I will hear him through my monitor and wake you up, or go see him myself. I think you are being a bit over paranoid, baby. We will be fine. I wasn't completely convinced, but I nodded. Anyway, okay. Now come on, you need to get some sleep while you can too, Thang said, gently pulling me closer to him. I'm sure you missed being the little spoon these past few months. I yawned as I walked downstairs with her for the fourth time tonight, but it felt like the 12th. I am thankful my baby monitor was able to wake me up every time Taekook did something, which was approximately every 2 hours before Taehyung even moved next to me. I headed to the kitchen with the tiny bones in my stick, quickly preparing a bottle of formula and placing it in the bottle warmer my sister had given us at the baby shower. After checking the time on the microwave, I decided to start the coffee machine as well, adding a dark roast pod and double checking that there was enough water in the machine. A few minutes later, I was on my way out to the patio, balancing a cup of coffee and my son's bottle in one hand, he was resting on the crook of my other arm. The sun just has risen, and there was a beautiful breeze as I grinned and lowered myself onto the sand as I had constructed in our backyard early this summer. I hurriedly repositioned Taekook in my arm and brought the bottle to his lips, sighing with relief when he looked on the calm down instantly as I set the bottle on the ground when he finished eating and grabbed my cup of coffee to take a much needed sip before carefully lowering it to the ground to take my phone from my pocket. Even though it was still early, I know both of our moms were probably awake and waiting for to hear from us. So I took a quick selfie with Taekook and looked haggard, but I flashed the brightest smile I could conjure, and the photo made with purpose. So I sent it to them both. Without further consideration, I had received messages from each of them promising to come over with food about lunchtime. While I was halfway through my coffee, when I finished my coffee, I took the cup to the chest and gently patted the back until he burped. I was about to return inside with my cup and baby bottle when I noticed the back door open and Taehyung stepped out. You are up early, I said after clearing my throat and realizing that both of my hands were full. Missing the both of you, they said, while I shrugged as she walked the few steps and swing. Sit next to me, making grubby hands for our baby. Right away, I let out a glance as I moved Taekook to Taehyung's arm and held out my cup to him. Coffee. The face Taehyung made in return was answer enough, and I smiled. Want me to go make you some tea? He shook his head and scooted closer to me on the swing, his sleepy smile falling on Taekook. No, I just want some time with my boys. I smiled once again as I threw one arm around Taehyung's shoulder and reached across with the other to rub my son's soft cheek. Taehyung and I sat there over an hour, letting the cold morning breeze color our cheeks and the grass beneath us tickle our toes as we can admire the baby in Taehyung's arm, who was only a few days old but had already won both of our hearts. I said, causing him to face my direction with a raised eyebrow. I think we are going to be fine after all. The smile gave me a brighting, beautiful grin before leaning in and kissing me passionately. So everyone, this is end of this story. I hope you will enjoy it, and if you do, comment it down. Do you have any thoughts to share with me? Also mention it in the comment section. I'll see you again with another Taekook love story. Till then, take care of yourself. Bye bye.